I spam called my scam callers 266 times and it worked. For over a year, I've been harassed daily by spam calls. I'm talking 10 to 15 calls a day every day without fail. Always from random US numbers. Always leaving the same robotic voicemail. Hi, this is Jennifer from the senior underwriting team calling about your loan. I never had a loan. I never asked for one. But Jennifer? She never quit. I've had to wipe my voicemail inbox multiple times a week just to keep it from clogging up with that same stupid recording. It's been affecting work, ruining moments with friends, even waking me up. You don't realize how exhausting it is until you're in a Zoom meeting trying to sound professional while your phone vibrates off the table every 3 minutes with another spoofed call from Jennifer. Then last week, I found a Reddit post talking about this exact scam. Deep in the comments, someone casually mentioned that they got the calls to stop by spam calling them back. Just kept calling and calling until they gave up. I was skeptical. But honestly, I was desperate and extremely petty. I figured I had nothing to lose but 30 minutes and a little dignity. So I called the number, put myself on mute, let them talk for a few seconds, hung up, called again, same thing, called again, and again, and again. I got through to so many different people, some with thick Indian accents, others faking bad Australian or British ones. I swear I heard 3 different company names in the first 10 minutes. Sometimes they'd stutter and switch scripts mid-sentence. One guy answered like, this is John from, the lending resource, the debt relief team. I started keeping track out of spite. I made 266 calls in 35 minutes. By call 100, they were clearly annoyed. Some would just say hello and hang up. Around call 150, they started hanging up the instant they heard silence. I wasn't stopping. I was just getting started. By call 175, I was deep into this. At this point, it wasn't about revenge or even stopping the calls. It had become something else. A twisted game. Every call was a new flavor of chaos. One lady answered sounding bored out of her mind, said, "You've reached the Financial Freedom Hotline," then yawned. Another guy started reading from a script, paused, said, "Wait, hold on," and then hung up like he just realized I wasn't supposed to be calling them. But the best part? Around call 200, they started calling me Mr. Boop. No idea where that name came from. I never said anything. I stayed muted the whole time. But I'd call and someone would pick up and go, "Hello, Mr. Boop," in this weird, tired voice, like I was some legendary nuisance who'd been whispered about around their cubicles. I started laughing uncontrollably at one point. I had tears in my eyes, muted laughter echoing around my kitchen while these poor scammers scrambled to figure out what was happening. One guy answered the phone with, "What do you want, Boop?" like we had beef. Another just sighed and said, "Oh my God," before hanging up. They weren't even trying anymore. One guy answered with just "no" and hung up. Another just screamed, "Stop calling," like I'd personally ruined his life. Honestly, it was beautiful. And yes, I know this might make me sound a little unhinged. But after over a year of being spammed, ignored, and disrupted, it felt incredible to flip the script. For once, they were the ones stuck dealing with pointless calls and silence on the other end. For once, I was the annoying one. Call 250? They didn't even say hello. They picked up and breathed into the phone like some kind of exhausted horror movie villain. I didn't break character. Just mute. 5 seconds. Hang up. Next call. Then call 260. That's when I met the final boss. Call 260. I was getting trigger happy, riding a chaotic high, completely locked into the dumbest mission I've ever committed to. I tapped the number again, phone up to my ear, expecting another defeated sigh or a Mr. Boop mutter. Instead, I hear this deep, mob boss type voice, cool, calm, but with that I'm about to lose it, edge. He goes, "Mr. Boop, you've got to stop with these spam calls. I mean, seriously, you got to have something better to do with your time." I swear on my life, I nearly dropped my phone. It was like the scammer Godfather had picked up. This dude sounded like he was wearing sunglasses in a dark room, just done with everyone's sh*t. I didn't say a word, I was muted as usual, but I was losing it on the inside. Laughing silently, hand over my mouth, knees weak. This man had the energy of someone who'd fought 100 battles and had nothing left to give. Like he'd been on a 12-hour shift scamming grannies and now he had me, Mr. Boop, calling every 7 seconds like an angry ghost. He stayed on the line for a few seconds, breathing heavy, waiting for a response. When he got silence, he just sighed. "All right, man, all right." Click. That was the last call I made. It was the perfect ending. I had reached the core of their operation and the boss himself had acknowledged me. That's the closure I didn't know I needed. And the craziest part? They haven't called me since. I'm not even joking. After a solid year of relentless spam, Jennifer from the senior underwriting team is gone. Just like that. Not a single call in the days following my little campaign of chaos. It worked. The Boop rebellion succeeded. I keep checking my call log out of habit. Still nothing. No new voicemails, no spoofed numbers from Texas or Ohio. My phone is finally quiet. Peaceful. I don't know if I broke them, scared them, or just annoyed the hell out of them enough to blacklist me. I don't care. It worked. And I still hear that final boss voice in my head sometimes like a bedtime story. You gotta have something better to do with your time. Yeah, maybe. But that was time well spent. By this point, I had become something else entirely. Not a victim. Not even just a guy getting petty revenge. I had turned into an urban legend inside their crappy little call centers. I could feel it. Every blocked number, every fake email, every final offer was a half-hearted last gasp. And I knew it. They were terrified of the guy who called 266 times in one sitting. I started noticing weird signs. One number I hadn't blocked managed to call again, just once. I answered immediately, but they hung up before saying anything. 30 seconds later, I got a notification that someone tried logging into one of my old emails. Then again with an even older one. They didn't have the password, but it felt intentional. Like they were probing. Like they wanted to know who I was. That night, I changed every password I could remember. Set up 2FA like I was protecting national secrets. I even called my phone provider and had them check if anything looked off. Nothing did. But I wasn't taking chances. Because suddenly I realized they knew my number, sure. But what if they wanted more? So I started getting proactive. I downloaded a burner app. Got a second number. I started calling them again from scratch. New number, same silence. They picked up, I said nothing. I let the dead air hang between us like an awkward first date. One guy said, no. It's him again, and hung up before I could even breathe weird. I was in their heads. I felt like Batman, but for telemarketing scum. A silent, petty vigilante stalking the shadows of spoofed caller IDs. Then I did something even worse. I joined a Reddit group dedicated to spam busting. Found a list of commonly used scam numbers and dialed down the list one by one just to see how many were still active. Some were dead. Others rang out. A few answered, and I could hear the weariness in their voices. Please stop, one whispered before I even said anything. I think they're scared of me now. Good. It's been 2 weeks since the last real spam call. 2 weeks. My voicemail has never been so empty. My phone doesn't vibrate off the table every 10 minutes. I'm no longer jumping every time I see a random area code. It's quiet. Peaceful. Suspiciously so. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. For Jennifer to rise from the ashes like some robotic phoenix. But she hasn't. And I think I know why. I made a call center give up. I picture it sometimes, this fluorescent lit room packed with low-budget cubicles and guys in mismatched headsets flipping coins over who has to answer that number. Maybe they put my number on a wall like a wanted poster. Maybe there's a whole Slack thread about me, do not answer if it's +1, 555, it's that guy again. And you know what? I'm proud. Not because I ruined their day, but because I reclaimed mine. They stole my peace of mind for over a year. Hijacked my work hours, interrupted my sleep, flooded my voicemail. And I took all that back one call at a time. But I won't lie to you, I kinda miss it now. There was a weird satisfaction in knowing I was making their lives just a little harder. Knowing some scammer halfway across the world was rolling his eyes because I called for the 8th time that hour and just played fart noises into the mic. Sometimes I think about starting again. Getting a new burner. Finding new numbers. Keeping the war going, not because I need to, but because I can. Because somewhere out there, a dude named John is nervously glancing at his phone, hoping it doesn't ring. And me? I've got time.